Welcome to A Course of Love. I'm Earl Purdy. Welcome to A Course of Love. And this evening, we're going to be talking about the call to be who you really are. We're going to continue with this section. We're going to talk about what about the call to being who you really are. So take a breath. This is A Course of Love. And it's time to talk about the call to be who you really are. Words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. Love is who you are. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. You and me, we've been together from the start. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Welcome to A Course of Love. I'm Earl Purdy on Facebook Live. We're talking about the call to be who we really are. Let's come together and understand. Hello, Kim. Christ was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. Take a breath, you all. When you choose him. Hello, beloved Rita. Everyone becomes a part of you, and then you know that love is who I am. Hello, Bill, Kathy. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. You and me, we've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Hello, Keith. Hello, Sonia. Yeah. We are one. Trudy. Hello. Good to have you here. We are one. Good to have you here on First Facebook Live. I'm Earl Rise Purdy. I want to thank you for tuning in to A Course of Love. Tonight we're going to talk about the call to be who you really are. And you don't have to believe these ideas, accept these ideas, or welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas are going to be hard to believe. Some of these ideas are going to be quite startling, but if you use the ideas, you'll see that the ideas work. You will see that the ideas are true. But it's the application of the ideas that will show you that they are true. This class appeals to the heart. Guess what? You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. You and I are one. Let's open our hearts. The Course of Love is about the heart, not about the analytical mind. It's so good to be here, being with you right now. I'm so glad to be with you right now. Tonight we're going to talk about the call to be who you really are. There's a call to be who you really are. Hey y'all, this is Earl Purdy, and I'm glad that I got you here with me, and we're going to do the Course of Love tonight. And I really want to bring the Course of Love to life, my goal is for us to actually really, really hear what Yeshua is saying in the Course of Love. This has been a spectacular day, a day that I'm very grateful for. I had an incredible conversation, sharing with my daughter this morning that was off the chain, that felt really, really awesome and good. I'm watching our relationship become even more and more loving, and I'm thankful for that. And so I'm applying the principles of A Course of Love, and I'm experiencing a lot more of the peace and the centeredness that the Course of Love is promising. So I want to be a conduit of love. And so I'm going to try to bring this to life so that we can hear it. And we're going to continue where we left off on the call to be who you really are. It's going to be on page 247 in A Course of Love, page 247. And it's going to be, we're going to start with paragraph 14, chapter 4, in the Course of Love, the way of the heart, the call to who you are. On page 247, it's the second treatise, a treatise on the nature of unity, page 247, in A Course of Love. So I would like to ask you to just take a moment, to just take a breath, and just relax, cool out. You know, it's time for us to tune in. And I'm going to start with paragraph 14. Paragraph 13. It says, being who you are is what you're called to do. So what is it that Spirit, what is it that the universe is wanting us to do? Well, according to A Course of Love, what the universe is wanting us to do is to be who we are. It says you are here asked to live a life as seamless as that of the birds in the air. What does that mean? Well, it means you are asked to live a life where there is no division between who you are and what you do. That there's no separation, no difference between who you are and what you do. So who you are is love. So what you should do is love. There should be no difference between who you are, which is love, and what you do, which is being loving. This place of no division, when there's no longer any kind of division between what you are and what you do, that is the place of unity. So our goal is to reach that place of unity. So let me remember, what it is that I'm being called to do is to be who I am. What I'm asking you to do is to be who you are. I'm glad all of you are online. I'm glad that we're live. I'm glad that you can interact with each other. And I'm watching your comments. Please like the video and share the video. Right next to the comment box, you can click on share and share this video on your timeline so that other people can take advantage of this loving teaching that we're doing tonight. So it's time for me to live my life as if there's no division between who I am and what I do. It's time for you to live your life as if there's no division between who you are and what you do. And when you're not divided, you are in a place of oneness. You are in a place of unity. Then the Course of Love says, now you may feel as if this treatise has led you around in a circle. You may feel like what we've been studying has led you around in a circle. And that means bringing you back only to contemplate again the acceptance of where you are right now. So it seems like we're right back to, let me think about my ability to accept where I am right now. However, to accept where you are is not the same as accepting who you are. Accepting where you are is not the same as accepting who you are. Accepting where you are as if where you are is some kind of a static place at which you have arrived. That's not the goal. You're not supposed to just accept where you are as some type of a static goal. Okay, here I am. I'm just accepting where I am. I'm just accepting where I am right now. That's not the goal that we're talking about. If you accept who you are. So what does it mean to accept who you are? It includes the acceptance of creation. So to accept who you are is the acceptance of creation. what is the acceptance of creation? Well, the acceptance of creation is the acceptance of change and the acceptance of growth. So if you're going to accept creation, you must accept that you're going to change. You must accept that everything in the world of form is going to change. Everything is going to change. Everything is going to continue to change. Everything and everybody in your life, they're going to continue to change. Everything, and everyone in your life, everything that you see, is going to continue to change. So accepting creation is accepting that you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to change. So to be in a conscious relationship with someone else, it's important that the two people involved in a relationship, any kind of relationship, it's important that you realize that they are going to keep changing, and you're going to keep changing, and they are going to keep growing, and you are going to keep growing. And that is the acceptance of creation. But neither of these are concepts that we understand fully. That we don't really understand the acceptance of creation and the acceptance of change and the acceptance of growth. The Course of Love says that we don't really understand these concepts truly. So what does that mean? It means that I need to remember, and you need to remember, that change isn't negative. People too often act like that's the worst thing that can happen to them, is that something in their life changes. So in order to accept your creative power, it's important to recognize that everything is going to change, that you're going to grow, and that change isn't negative. So I'd like for you to take a minute, to take a breath, and tell yourself, change is not negative. Change is not negative. Say it to yourself right now. Change is not negative. Change is not negative. Here's another way that you can put it. All changes are helpful. All changes are helpful. So let me hear you say that to yourself. Say that to yourself. All changes are helpful. Let's make it more real. Every change that I'm going through in my life right now is helping me. Every change that I'm going through right now in my life is helping me. Every change that I'm going through right now in my life is helping me. Say that to yourself. Every change that I'm going through in my life is helping me. Every change that I'm going through is helping me. Every change that you are going through is helping you. And you know the change that I'm talking about. You know how that statement really applies to you. If you're going through changes right now, if you're going through big changes or small changes in your life right now, the correct way to look at it is all changes are helpful. All changes are helpful. Every change that you're going through is helpful. Now, and change isn't negative, and growth doesn't mean that there's something lacking in you just because you continue to grow. Just because you are continuing to grow, just because you are continuing to evolve, it doesn't mean that there's anything lacking or wrong with you because you need to grow and you keep needing to evolve. So what is it that you need to begin to see? What is it that you and I need to begin to see? So we need to begin to see that your thought processes, the very thought processes that tell you hour by hour and minute by minute how to perceive of and how to live in your world, are still based on old concepts. It's important that you really recognize that a lot of your thinking is still based on old concepts and old ideas and old programming. You're beginning to see how much you still may have some old ideas, some old beliefs, and some old programming. So even though you may still have some old ideas, old beliefs, old programming, it doesn't mean that you haven't changed. It doesn't mean that you are in need of accomplishment rather than knowing that you are already accomplished. The fact that you still have some old ideas, the fact that you still have some old ways of thinking, the fact that you still have some old thought processes means all that means is that you are still in need of unlearning. If you still have any of your old beliefs, it doesn't mean you haven't been growing. It doesn't mean that you are not changing for the better. It just means that, okay, I still have some unlearning to do. I still have some things that I need to let go of. I still need to have some of my old patterns of thought undone. So what is atonement? What is atonement? Well, atonement is the unlearning and the undoing of my old ways of thinking. So the atonement simply means I need to undo and let go of a lot of my old ways of thinking. I still need to let go of some of my old ways of thinking. I still have some old patterns and some old thought processes that still come up from time to time, but it doesn't mean I'm not growing, and it doesn't mean that I'm not experiencing positive change. It just means I still have some unlearning and some undoing of some more of my old concepts and ideas to do. That's the atonement. So this is atonement. So ask yourself right now, because this is really about hearing this. What is atonement according to A Course of Love? What did we just hear that atonement is? And many times people want to say at one meant, but actually it was dictated as an atonement. And atonement isn't a negative word, because we've been told that it just means that I am undoing old ways of thinking. I am correcting my errors. I'm having my errors corrected. That's what atonement means. I'm going to atone means I'm going to accept the correction of my errors. I'm going to accept the correction of my thinking. I'm ready to let go of my old ways of thinking and my old thought patterns. Okay, so this is atonement. And it says it is continuous, it's ongoing until it's no longer needed. So what does that mean? It means that I'm going to continue the process of letting go of old thoughts, old beliefs, old ways of looking at things, old patterns until they're completely undone. But even though I'm still seeing things about myself that need to be changed, even though I'm still noticing that I have some thoughts, thought patterns, and ways of expressing myself that need to be changed, I'm still going to claim that I'm still growing. I'm still going to claim that the changes that I'm going through are really helpful to me right now. So anything continuous, anything that's ongoing is a part of creation. So creation is anything that's continuous. Creation is anything that's ongoing. And so what does that mean? It means that the very act of undoing old patterns is an act of creation. What? Yeah, you are creating just by studying this material and applying it to yourself. Because in studying this material and applying it to yourself, you are undoing old ways of thinking and acting, and that is creation. So us being together, undoing our way of looking at things, that is actually an act of creation. So that means as the old is undone, then a vacuum really isn't being created when you undo the old. When you undo the old, that's when the new is created. So if you are undoing your old ways of thinking, if you are undoing your old ways of feeling, then you are in an act of creation. You are actually being created right now as you let go of your old way of thinking and your old thought processes. So, in paragraph 16 in chapter 4, it says, you are in the process of unmaking what you've made. So you're in the process of unmaking everything that you've made. There are only two things to make, really. That's love. You can either allow love into your life or some form of fear in your life. So you're in the process of unmaking what you've made. What the Course in Miracles and the Course of Love tells us is what we've made is a thought system and a way of being that makes us think we're separate from God and separate from love and separate from each other. That's what we made. So your old structure, your old ways of thinking, your old ways of feeling, they're coming down right now, so that the new, what might be likened to a building with no frame, can rise. So this process too, what process? The process of allowing the old thought structures and the old feelings and the old emotions in your life to be undone, that is what's going to allow the new. The new will come on its own if I'm willing to undo my old thought processes and my old behaviors. See, what most people don't realize is that what they think of as themselves is really just who they think they are. And that they're acting from programming that they've gotten from the world and beliefs that they've gotten from the world and concepts that they've been taught. And they think these concepts and beliefs really reflect reality. But the truth is our concepts and beliefs, they are actually covering up reality. They're actually covering up what's true. So we're really looking at everything through the filter of our beliefs. And our beliefs edit out certain things and our beliefs accept certain things. So there's really your perception, but then reality is on the other side of your perception. Reality is on the other side of the way that you see things. Reality is on the other side of the thought processes that you've learned in the past. And any thought system that's based on fear or guilt or anger or lack, these are all old thought patterns that we are now letting go of in a course of love. So this process, it says, is union because it's giving and receiving as one. We talked about the other week that we will receive what we're giving, that everything we give is given to ourselves. So giving and receiving is the same. I'm going to receive what I'm giving. Let me give you a concrete example that you could try. If I give you love and I give you peace and I'm expressing joy right now because I'm so grateful to see you, I'm receiving all that joy that I'm giving because it's got to come through me to get to you. So everything that comes through me has an effect on me. Say that to yourself. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. Say that. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me. If anger comes through me, it has an effect on me. If peace comes through me, peace has an effect on me. If love comes through me, it has an effect on me. Whatever comes through me has an effect on me, because giving and receiving are one. Giving and receiving are the same thing. So you are always receiving whatever you're giving right now. You are the first point of any feeling or emotion or thought that you have. So giving and receiving, the process too is union. It says because it's giving and receiving as one, although you recognize it not as such. Most people don't realize that everything they're giving to themselves. If we realize that everything we are giving, we are receiving, it would totally change what we would give to other people and how we would treat other people, wouldn't it? I mean, if we really knew that everything that I'm giving is what I'm going to receive and is what I am receiving, it would change my whole approach to what I share with people. Unless I don't really love myself and I don't really think I deserve to be happy. If I think I deserve to be punished, if I think I deserve to be attacked, if I think I'm not good enough, I'm going to give something to others that will attract back to me some form of pain, some form of attack, and some form of anger, because I don't love myself, so I believe that I don't deserve to be happy. So giving and receiving can also work in terms of a person not loving themselves, giving themselves a really challenging experience. Giving and receiving is the same. But also that law could work to your advantage by you knowing that whatever I want to receive from my experience, all I have to do is give it and give it to myself. So that means that giving is really asking. That when you give something, you're asking for it. So whatever you're giving is what you're asking for. So to ask for something means to give it. If I want to ask for love, I give it. If I want to ask for peace, I give it. So it's not a process of waiting until one thing is accomplished for another thing to begin. What is happening now is happening in unison. As the old go, the same time that the old goes, the new arrives. As the old goes, the new arrives as the old goes. They happen at the same time. That's what the Course of Love is saying. It happens in unity. That if I want the new, well, the new will show up as I let go of the old. They happen at the same time. There is no vacuum. There is no I let go of the old, there's a vacuum, and then the new comes in. No, the truth is, as I'm letting go of the old, as I'm letting go of old thoughts, old feelings, old programmings, old ways of looking at things, as I'm letting go of the blocks, the new automatically comes in to take its place. So, tell yourself right now, as the old goes, the new arrives. 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 I do things in rhythm, and I say things in such a way so that it won't just be little intellectual thoughts going around in my head. I want to get these ideas and beliefs in my body. So you want to get it in your body. You want to feel it in your heart. You want to get these ideas to be a part of your feeling nature. And do you know that in order for these ideas to become a part of your feeling nature, you have to quiet your intellectual, analytical mind for a minute and breathe and become conscious of your physical body and your environment and get really, really present? Because the voice inside your head, it's like a robot. It's like a voice on an answering machine. It's just going to repeat back to you whatever's been recorded. So it's really not the voice inside your head that's going to give you the best advice about living your life, because it's just a conglomeration of the beliefs and experiences that you've had in the past that may not have even been based on the truth or even based on what was really loving. So it's really about going beyond the voice inside your head and getting in touch with your deeper feelings, your deeper urges, your deeper intuitions that's beneath all of that. So as you let go of the old, the new arrives. I really appreciate these wonderful heart emojis that are being sent right now. So let's see what else that we're being told. It says, there is no time lapse in this learning, and so it is a condition of miracle readiness. That means that the old is replaced by the new simultaneously. Notice that the Course of Love, just like the Course of Miracles and Course in Miracles and the Way of Mastery, notice that as you go through this material, you're going to notice that it says the same thing over and over again when there's a point that's trying to be made. Like it says, as the old goes, the new arrives. And then a couple of sentences later, it says the old is replaced by the new simultaneously. So notice it's saying the exact same thing, because in order to go to the next level of consciousness, in order to go to the happy, loving, spiritual level of consciousness, all I have to do is remember the truth, remember what I'm hearing, and not try to analyze it to death. This is why you do not have to wait. You don't have to wait to hear your calling. Say what? You don't have to wait, Earl, to hear your calling. You don't have to wait, mighty companion, to hear your calling. Even though some of you may feel as if you are in a time of waiting. Some of you may feel like you're waiting, for you hear no such call. So some of you still think you're waiting to hear the call of God, that you're waiting to hear the call to be who you really are, that you're waiting to hear that guidance. But the call is the call to be who you really are. Hearing the call means I'm ready to be who I really am. I know I've heard God, and I know I've heard the truth when I'm ready to be who I really am. And what is it that I really am? Well, you've been told you are love. You are light. You are spirit. You are truth. You are as God created you to be. So the call to be who you are, and this is happening at lightning speed, which is a speed that cannot be measured. You're moving fast at a speed that you can't even measure because of its simultaneous nature. So, as was said within A Course of Love, time is but a measurement of the time it takes for learning to occur. What is time? Time is just a measurement of the time it takes for learning to happen. Time is a measurement of the time it takes for learning to happen. So, as you continue on your spiritual path, do you know what's going to happen in regard to time? As you continue your awakening process, do you know what's going to happen in terms of time? Time, the whole notion of time is going to dissolve. And you're going to go into a state of miracle readiness. So a state of miracle readiness is the same as saying, I'm going to move into a state of love readiness. I am going to move in a state of, I'm going to move to the state of right-mindedness readiness. I have right-mindedness readiness. I have miracle readiness. I have the expression of love readiness. So time dissolves, and your readiness to receive right-mindedness and love, that's what takes over. Now, while this adjustment of your thinking may not seem to be the miracle that it truly is, what's going to happen to you as your awareness grows? So what is going to happen to you as your awareness grows? What is going to happen to you as your awareness grows? Well, as your awareness of it grows, it is going to raise your miracle readiness to a level you will come to think of as an ability. When you're going to see your readiness for love and your readiness for right-mindedness, your readiness for peace, your readiness for unity, your readiness for joining, it's going to get to the point that you have an ability to love, an ability to join, an ability to express the truth. So readiness is going to turn into an ability. Your readiness to be miracle-minded, to be right-minded, to be love-minded, it's going to turn into the ability to be right-minded, to be love-minded, to be truth-minded. So what does that mean? Well, what I just said means that as your old way of responding to life causes you to struggle and resist, your old way of responding to life causes a person to struggle and resist. So what you're doing is you're letting go of the need to struggle, and you're letting go of the need to resist love and to resist the truth. That's what's happening right now. So your old way of responding to life, according to the Course of Love, is responding to life in terms of struggle, responding to life in terms of resistance. And the new way of thinking replaces the old pattern with a new pattern of response. So I'm letting go of my old pattern. So what does that mean? It means that I need a brand new pattern of response. I have a brand new pattern of response that I'm cultivating. You will begin to see that each new response is going to be an answer. Your new responses are going to be an answer, but it's going to be an answer to the call of your heart. And you're going to be responding to the call of your heart. But it's going to have a very interesting characteristic. When you are responding to the call of your heart, it's going to be a call that only you can hear. The call that comes from your heart, the request that comes from your being, your very core, it's going to be a call that you're the only one that's going to be able to hear your particular call. See, in the Course of Love, one of the things that it does is that it allows your heart to become your eyes and your ears. So it means that you begin to see from your heart. You begin to hear from your heart. But do you know that your heart only hears one call? Your heart only hears one voice. your heart only hears the language of one source, the source of unity. So your new responses will be from love to love. And that's right, CJ. May I now respond to the inner call of my heart above all other calls in life. That's a perfect way to put it. Let's all say that to ourselves. May I now respond to the inner call of my heart above all other calls in life. May I now respond to the inner call of my heart above all other calls of life. So that's what we need to do right now. May I listen to the calls of my heart above every other call that's going on within me right now. So, let's take a breath. Now, we're going to move to chapter 5, and we're going to cover as much of that as we can. So now we're going to talk about the call, but now we're going to talk about the source of your call. Let's talk about the source of your call. Okay, but before we do that, I'd like to take a minute to ask, are there any questions or comments about what I've just covered from A Course of Love, which is the call to be who you really are? Any questions, any comments, any ahas about that before I go on? So let's see. Okay, it's cool. We sending out some hearts. We sending out some love to each other right now. So I would invite you to take a little minute now to call to be who you really are. It's saying, it's as you let go of the old, the new automatically shows up. As you let go of the old, the new shows up. As I let go of the old, the new shows up. As I let go of the old, the new shows up.
You are sinless, love you like you are. The old inviolability was your father's guarantee that you would forever be completely free. You are guiltless, you are guiltless, you are a child of God. You are guiltless, love you where you are. Your inviolability
Yeah.
was your father's guarantee.
Take a breath, listen. All right. Okay, so now we're going to chapter 5. We're going to go to the source of your call. We're going to go into the source of your call. It's good to see you online, Rebecca. It's good to see you, Gemma. That's right, Gemma. The more I love and give to others, the more I'm given to and love. CJ, putting on my new Finder glasses. That's absolutely true. CJ also said, I find it very powerful that the more I live what I desire, the more I will attract what I desire, a perpetually fulfilling path. That's exactly true. And Kathy says, may I now respond to the inner call of my heart above all other calls of life, which is what CJ said earlier. So I want you to keep in mind that as you let go of the old, the new is automatically showing up. As you let go of the old, the new will automatically show up. And that change and growth is an act of creation. And undoing your old ways of thinking and feeling, that's also an act of creation. And you're being called to be who you really are. And who you really are is a child of love, a child of God. Who you really are and what you really are is love. That's the points. So most of the time when people hear something like you're being called to be who you really are, they think that means I'm being called to be a teacher, I'm being called to be a doctor, I'm being called to be a healer, I'm being called to be a nurse, I'm being called to be a construction worker. No, you're being called to express who you really are as love, as truth, as light. And you may do that in any station or role that you're playing in life. So now we're going to talk about, in chapter 5, we're going to talk about the source of your call. It says, in order for you to more fully understand the life that this course calls you to, in order for you to more fully understand the life that this course calls you to, we must also talk of another aspect of being called. While we have concluded that when you listen to your heart and hear and are able to respond to the one call. This doesn't mean that this one call has but one request to make of you, as in a call to be a minister, nor that this call will come in but one form, as in a call to action. We have talked theretofore about a calling you feel from inside. We're talking about a calling that you feel from within, as if you are listening to a new voice that would reveal your talents and desires to you. It's time for you to listen to a new voice that will reveal your talents to you. It's time to listen to a new voice that will reveal your desires to you. And this type of calling comes just like a light that's shone into the darkness, because it has a very revelatory nature. Other calls will come as announcements. Some of your calls will come as announcements, signs, or even as seeming demands. All of your calls are calling you to be present, where response is able to be given. All call you back. Everything is calling you back to who you really are. So the call is a call for you to move back to what you really are, as spirit, as love, as light, as unity, as free. So again, let me stress something to you. Let me stress the present moment nature of being called. So let's go back. Let's review. It says a call is, at its most basic level, a call is a means of communication. And one of the things that the Course in Miracles teaches is that communication is a joining of minds. It's a joining of ideas. It's a joining of purpose. So a call is really a means of communication. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you are not listening, what will happen if you're not listening? If you are not listening, you will not hear the calls that are meant for you. There are certain calls from God, from Source, that are meant for you. And if you're not listening, you won't hear the call. If you're constantly listening to the voice inside your head, if you're constantly analyzing, trying to figure things out, focusing on the past, focusing on the future, if you're focusing on the past and focusing on the future, if you're thinking about the past and you're thinking about the future and you're analyzing everything and you're constantly analyzing and you're constantly listening to the voice inside your head, then you are not listening, which means you won't hear the calls that are meant for you. If you are looking only for a specific type of call, you're going to miss many unlearning and learning opportunities if you already have decided what the call from God is supposed to be and what the call from God and your source is supposed to be saying. Then do you know that you're going to miss a lot of unlearning and learning opportunities? So what's needed? the recognition of the different calls. It's time to be open to many different calls. That may be heard. That's what's necessary. So the call that comes in the form of an announcement, some of your calls are going to come in the form of an announcement, is the call that's going to carry with it no ambiguity. In other words, the certainty of an announcement from within can alert you that it is time to act. Some of the calls are going to tell you, okay, it's time now. It's time for you to act. And the call to action, do you know that the call to action is actually the highest form of call? The call from the already accomplished to the already accomplished. You are already accomplished. Whether you realize it or not, you are already accomplished. If you've gone this far on the spiritual path, that you are tuning into a course of love, you've already accomplished a great deal of awakening. You are already accomplished. So I'm the already accomplished, communicating to you who's the already accomplished. So I want to invite you right now to like this video, share this video, communicate with me, communicate with each other. Let's take advantage of the fact that we're doing this in real time. So, what kind of call is the call from the accomplished to the already accomplished? Well, it says, such a call signals an end to learning from the lessons of the past and the beginning of learning from the new. This course itself is just such a call to end all of your old learnings based on separation and fear in the past. And this is the beginning of a new learning that you're going to get from your new self, from the new calling, from the new thought system, from your heart. This is the all-encompassing call. You're getting an all-encompassing call, but it's not about specifics. What? It's not about specifics. Because it's not about specifics, since I'm not telling you what to specifically do, since you're not being told what to specifically do, you may find yourself still wondering what to do. You may still be finding yourself still wondering what to do. And so you must be aware of the calls. What kind of calls? That the calls from self, the calls from God that assist you in knowing what to do. So the calls that are trying to assist you in knowing what to do, the answers that are trying to assist you in knowing what to specifically do. It says these calls you may think of as signs. So you're going to start to get certain signs, sort of like literal signposts along a highway. These signs that are going to start coming to you, they're going to alert you. So these new signs that are going to come to you are going to alert you. But what are these signs? What are these signs going to alert you to? They're going to alert you to turn your attention in a particular direction. So a sign from Spirit is going to alert you. It's going to alert you to turn your attention into a particular direction. So that means that calls that seem to come in the form of demands, sometimes you will get calls that will seem like demands. With these kind of calls from God, calls from self, they are going to come to you from within the teaching and learning ground of relationships. So it seems like sometimes that the biggest calls come from the demands that seem to be made on you from within your relationships, whether it's your relationship with yourself, whether it's your relationship with God, whether it's your relationship to a mate, whether it's your relationship to children, whether it's relationship to your friends. Some of these calls are going to seem like they're demands that are being made on you from within your relationships. You may have somebody even literally call you to account. for certain attitudes and certain behaviors. You may find people are calling you to account for certain attitudes and certain behaviors that you've done. You may also be called upon to call others to account in terms of their attitudes and their behaviors. So these last two calls, which is what? The call that appears in the form of a sign, the call that comes in the form of a demand, these are all about specifics in a way that the call that comes as an announcement isn't. So these calls that look like demands, these calls that look like signs, they represent the remnants of learning from the past, the final breaking of your old patterns. These calls these calls that are coming from within you to be truly who you are, they may seem sometimes to signal difficult times, but these calls are times that can be gotten through and lessons that need to be allowed to pass through you. So what looks like difficult times are really the calls from God, the calls from self that need to be allowed to pass through you. Sometimes they look like demands that are being made on you from within the relationships that you have. Sometimes your calls to be who you are take the form of signs that you receive from life that seem to be pointing you in a specific direction. So until you fully integrated the truth that giving and receiving are one, until you have really come to realize that giving and receiving are one, giving and receiving are the same. I will receive what I'm giving now. All that I give is given to myself. Giving and receiving are one. I will receive all that I'm giving now. I will receive what I'm giving now. Until you realize that, until you integrate that, you will not fully believe that needs are not lacks. Just because you need something doesn't mean you're lacking something. What? Just because you think you need something does not mean you are lacking something. So a need isn't a lack. We sometimes respond to the idea of that, I don't want to need anybody. I don't want to need anything, as if somehow having a need is the exact same thing as something missing from you or something lacking in you. Well, it's not the same thing. So what does that mean, Earl? You need to make that clearer. Well, until you have fully integrated the truth that giving and receiving are one, until you really understand that you're going to receive what you're giving and that giving and receiving are the same, you will not realize that dependency is a matter of interdependency of all that exists in a relationship. So that means that all the calls that come to you, every call that comes to you to be yourself, in the form of signs, every call that comes to you in the form of demands, will be calls that assist you in integrating that giving and receiving are one, and integrating this learning and making it one with who you are. So I need to understand that I am love and giving and receiving is the same. So what do these lessons do? These lessons that we're doing right now, these lessons of understanding that sometimes you get signs that will direct you to move in a specific direction in terms of being who you are. Sometimes you will be in relationships that are asking you to be accountable and that seem to be making demands on you. Those relationships are also calling you to who you are and to the expression of who you really are. So these lessons will bring who you are where? It will bring who you are into focus where? Inside your mind. Through what? The vehicle of the heart. It's through the vehicle of the heart that these lessons will bring, these callings will bring you to the lessons that get you inside of your heart. So your relationships might call you to really and truly be who you really are. Your relationships may try to make you accountable for who you really are and expressing who you are. You're going to get signs that are going to point you in a specific direction to be who you are. That the call for God, the call to be yourself is going to come in many forms and in many ways. And just because you need something doesn't mean you are lacking anything. Giving and receiving are the same. All that you give, you're giving it to yourself. Letting go of your old patterns automatically creates space for the new patterns and the new adventures and the new reality to come to you. So every call that comes to you is showing you that giving and receiving are the same, and that I am love responding to love. That is true, Kathy. So we are now getting in touch with the source of our calling. And what is the calling? The call to be who you really are. That's the source of the call. You are the source of the call. God is the source of the call. Love is the source of the call. It is now time for you to be who you really are. Not what someone else has taught you to be, not what you've taught yourself to be in the past, not what the world has taught you to be. It is time for you to be your true self, to show up as who you really are. So we're going to do a quick takeaway. This is exactly what I needed to hear. I'm so grateful that you were here to meet with me tonight with the Course of Love. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation as a full-time teacher, I truly appreciate you seeing value in what's coming through me and sharing with me. I'm available for one-on-one personal healing counseling sessions using the Course of Love, A Course of Miracles, The Way of Mastery, and my knowledge of astrology and numerology, and I've been doing it for over 35 years. I am here, and I'm here to be of service to you. Got hundreds of classes that you can watch online and listen to at my website, earlpurdy.com. If you want to make a financial expression, that's at earlpurdy.com. And I also am available for what I call tutoring, like really working with you on a one-on-one with this material to speed you along in being able to actualize it and realize the truth of it. That's my calling. That's what Spirit is asking me to do. So you are a total blessing. This is a Course of Love. So you can go to acourseoflove.org if you want to find out more about it. And the music is John Christmas. So you go to johnchristmas.com, and guess what? You can download it, and you can download it for free. So you are the calling. No holding back. No holding back. So take a breath right now, and remember, as you let go of the old thought patterns, as you let go of the old, it automatically allows the new to come in. But what is the old that you're being asked to let go of? You're being asked to let go of the old thought patterns, the old processes, the old thinking. You are already accomplished. You are already accomplished. You are already accomplished because you're here learning a Course of Love. You would not be listening to the Course of Love unless you had already accomplished remembering more and more of who you are. And remember this. Listen, your invulnerability was your father's guarantee that you would forever be completely free. But you keep on singing, but you keep on singing, but you keep on singing the blues. Why do you keep on? Listen to the call. It's time for you to start singing. It's time for you to quit singing. It's time for you to learn you have nothing to lose. So on Sundays at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, I do the Course in Miracles on Facebook Live. And on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do the Way of Mastery. That's my calling. And on Thursday at 7 p.m. I do the Course of Love. And the thought we want to take away tonight is this. As you let go of the old, the new automatically arrive. As you let go of the old, the new comes in at the very same time. I am willing to let go of the old now. I am willing to let go of the old now. I am willing to let go of the old now. I am willing to let go of the old now. I accept the new 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 now. I accept, say it with me. Say it with me. Say it with me. I accept the new now. 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 Mighty companions, as usual, it's been a total healing pleasure to be here and to share a course of love with you. God bless you. I love you, and I will see you next time, mighty companion. Mwah.